My God. Big news conference for Roy Cooper this afternoon at 3 where he will resign. So he's going to step up and do the right thing. I don't know
how many more women have to step forward.
How many more women have to step forward before Roy Cooper will get it? That would be if Roy Cooper gets busted, if he gets busted for harassing women, I just give up. I'm gonna go live in a cave somewhere. It's over, right?
Yeah, I
resign.
I just saw this 5 minutes ago, and I just posted it on my Facebook page. I would invite you to just look at my Facebook page right now to see what I just put up. It'll help guide the first segment of the program today.
Oh, okay, that's always good to do some show prep, which I'm a big fan of. All right, I'm shared. Got to go over here to Twitter and do the same. Good afternoon, everybody. Good news, I get to keep my teeth for a little while longer. The gums are receding a little, but not badly.
See the story yet?
No, I've got to do one more little thing as far as sharing goes on the Twitter machine.
I'll just give you a little tease. It has something to do with what was on Rush Limbaugh's death certificate.
No, hang on. Now I have to look. Yeah. Oh God, please. Really?
Let me get the music here.
They should never mind. I can't give it away. I have to do it in the bit. You guys, it has to go in the act. No, just checking. That's a good amount right there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, make sure.
Okay, you ready?
I am.
Wish I was. Okay. All right, here we go.
Yip, yip, yahoo, greetings and salutations across hell. It is I, Lil Rush from Hades, talent that was on loan from God and now completely possessed by the devil himself. Delighted to be with. How is the Brad and Britt cast doing today?
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out, big guy. We will see. I wanted to have you on here just for a brief couple of moments because I don't think a lot of people saw this story. They have now revealed your death certificate before you took the long journey. After it's short for you because you have a private jet down to wherever it is, where it's 43,000 degrees today.
The long journey to hell.
Yes. Your death certificate lists your occupation as, quote, greatest radio host of all time.
Yes.
Your wife, Catherine, provided information about you to the Palm Beach County Medical Examiner's Office in Florida for the document, making her the likely source of the line. Now, some people might say the reason she did that was to just make sure that the spigot is never turned off, that the money keeps flowing. Comment, sir.
I have no issue with this, and how can you have an issue? There can't really be any true debate as to who. And by the way, I didn't have any control over this. All right, I was given a menu. They said you can do this or you can have largest penis ever, and I said, well, can I do both? They went, no, either great or biggest. By the way, you can get my death certificate with greatest radio host of all time at littlerussianhell.com. Little Russian Hell. Use the promo code Hades. Get an extra 20% off right now. Get that framed in your living room. Who would not want to have that in their living room? Rush Hudson Limbaugh III, greatest radio host of all time. Who wouldn't want to be a part of that?
I'm just shocked that you overlooked the concept of signing them for an extra $1,000 with personalization. How could you miss out on that?
I tried. I said, Catherine, just go ahead and stamp them. And then she wouldn't do it. You know, there's even stuff she doesn't want to do. And she's very busy picking up other men with my money now. So I can't even really get through to her. It's a very difficult time for me and Catherine. And she completely breaks. I very much want her to be happy. I said, Catherine, if you would like, I can somehow include you in Kimberly Guilfoyle and Robert and Donald Trump Jr.'s relationship. You guys can have a threesome of some sort. This did not appeal to her for some reason. So I don't know who she's going to end up with, but she's got a shit ton of money. Just a sick amount of money that she's got to truck around all over South Florida. I know, Marta did very well up there. I think she lives near where Tiger Woods lived, right? Up in Amelia Island or someplace like that.
Okay.
I don't know. Once I cut him loose, I don't give a shit.
I love the way people who are in Florida talk about all the little places as if everybody knows all the little towns and little cities in Florida, where they are, the geography of them, as if we're expected to know everything about Florida. I can't figure out which is worse, Texas or Florida, for that kind of mentality. Can't figure it out. What do you?
Well, I always refer to it as this is the bath salt area, this is the meth area, and of course where I lived was the coke area. So we were in the coke belt there in South Florida, which extends from Hollywood all the way down into the Keys.
I get this AAA thing every month, and they talk about they divide up Florida into about 9 different geographical areas, and one of them is called the Coke Coast. Is that what you're talking about? The COKE coast.
That's exactly what it is, folks. And the Panhandle is just like basically South Alabama. So it's not even really a part of Florida anyway. But it's again, it's just wonderful. Catherine's doing well. And for those of you that don't understand my incredible sense of humor, my God, that's so hilarious to put world's greatest radio host on your death certificate and just have the liberals go crazy about it.
Right. Because some people might think that it's up to history. It's up to other people. It's up to other folks in your business to declare that. In other words, if Tom Brady got sick tomorrow and had 1 year to live, I doubt that he would have put on his death certificate greatest of all time, greatest quarter. He wouldn't need to do that if he really was that. You don't have to brag about it if you are that, Little Rush. You really ought to give it up. A little bit of humbleness right now would do your legacy good, because right now you're as divisive as Donald Trump or any other. Thank you. Okay, sorry. I stumbled into that one, didn't I? Fell for that one, didn't I?
I just got this news that this just came across my phone. We do have iPhones in hell, by the way. It's Satan's favorite device. they did say that the Queen is saddened, folks. The Queen is saddened that Harry and Meghan Markle are the Duchess of Sussex, folks. That's so sad that of the racism, and she's going to address it with the family privately. The Queen says she's going to talk about it.
Who's doing their PR? Susan Collins of Maine. I'm concerned. I'm very disturbed. What sounds like came right out of there. Every time Trump would do something unspeakable. Yeah, we're very concerned. He's learned his lesson. He won't do it again. We think he knows that he did something wrong, and we'll have to.
I wish like Donald Trump had gone Henry VIII and like murdered successive wife after successive wife, and then hung them and bled them out right there in front of the White House. And Susan Collins, oh, I'm so concerned. Wouldn't that have been fantastic if that would have happened? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Oh, yes, she's going to address it privately with the royal family. A little family meeting to talk about how racist we are, folks.
Well, the fun part of this, and I don't know, you have a lot of connections and might have the answer to this.
Yes.
Are they taking bets in Ireland? You know, they have those betting things, those lines that they'll let you bet on anything. So are you allowed to bet on who will be ultimately revealed to be the person who said to Meghan Markle, so what color is the kid going to come out? Because we now know, because Oprah confirmed this on Monday morning, that it's not the Queen and it's not Prince Philip. So now you have to move down one generation, and all the arrows are pointing even more at Prince Charles.
Who was the really sick one that used to party with Epstein?
Andrew.
You think maybe him? You think maybe him?
That's Prince Charles' brother.
Yeah.
It could be, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it really sounds Prince Charles-y to me, just because in the show it was revealed that he wasn't taking Harry's calls for a long time.
Really?
That sounds exactly like the kind of thing that would happen if he had said, so what color is the damn kid going? What's it going to be?
Oh, that's brilliant. It sounds like the Beatles cartoons. Keep going. It's wonderful. Then the kid comes out of her.
I could see where Harry just threw up his hands and said, I'm done with this shit. And then Prince Charles acted as if he was the victim and then decided not to pick up the phone and take Harry's call. So
then the kid comes out, and the kid is like just south of charcoal or whatever he is, and then
Rush, it's not a real issue. It's just not an issue. Please don't go there.
The shading. I mean, I'm just saying the kid was a lot more Oprah than Halle Berry. Is there anything wrong with that? Am I gonna?
No, not a thing. That's perfect. You really crystallized it for us. You helped.
I can't get canceled from hell, can I? Is that possible, folks?
No, I got one more little thing I want you to comment on, and we got to run here.
Absolutely.
This week, Mike Pence is hosting a 4-part series on on Fox Nation called The Age of Rush.
Could we get a bigger bunch of losers to pay tribute to me, folks? Would it be possible? So you want my reaction to Mike Pence
Are you excited? You're excited about that kind of tribute? I mean, I don't think you're gonna. Here's my question: do you think you will be included this following year, beginning now, on any award show where they run through the memoriam of famous people who died, the Academy Awards, the Emmys, the Tonys, the Golden Globe? You know, they do that on every show. Which one would you like to be on?
The International Academy of Assholes is going to be the one that's going to remember me fondly. I had a membership for more than 30 years, and I love them, and they're going to be the ones that pay tribute to me. In the end, I look forward to what Mike Pence's lame-ass attempt at trying to memorialize me is going to be. I can't wait for that. Thank you so much. Gotta go. We have Here in Hell. We have all of the Dr. Seuss books, and somehow we have stuck a penis on Mr. Potato Head. So come on down. I'll see
All right.
you in hell, everybody. Thank you so much.
There it goes. Hey, I did pretty good with the music today, didn't I?
You were spot on with that. You nailed it. What's going to be? Have you decided what's going to be printed on your death certificate?
Okay, ready? Why did he even bother? To live. How about that? That's the most depressing thing ever. Why did he even bother to live? ...
to live.
Yeah.
Oh, good times. Oh man, what is the latest in the culture wars, Brad?
Oh, there was a new one. You're blindsiding me here. There was some. Oh, I know what it is. It's the University of Texas fight song.
Yeah, deep in the heart of Texas, right? Or the eyes of Texas.
No, it's not deep in the. That's not deep. No.
It's the eyes of Texas.
Yeah.
That's
they're
the
going
big
nuts
story.
over that one, and I mean, I saw a long segment this morning on I think it was CBS, and the controversy over the song isn't the lyrics. It's not like Dixie, okay?
Right.
It's just because it was put into place or made the song for the University of Texas when the university was founded, I believe, early in the 1900s, and it was the complaint is about the people who put it there and what their intention was, what their motives were. It's a little bit of a stretch. It's a bit stretchy now to go after that song, maybe for that one. I don't know if you've been feverishly looking up.
I'm looking it up right now. They have a guy named Reddick who is the person who is in charge of equity at the University of Texas, Richard Reddick, professor and associate dean for equity. Yeah. And he says there's no smoking gun. There's nothing that either vindicates or implicates the eyes of Texas. It is an artifact of the university. It is a part of our history, the history of the University of Texas, the South, the postbellum Jim Crow South. So all of those things are in there. Key findings include researchers can find no direct link between the signature line, "The eyes of Texas are upon you," and anything that Robert E. Lee would say to his students at Washington and Lee University, where he was president after the Civil War. The panel determined there was a very low likelihood that the line originated with Robert E. Lee. The song borrows the melody of "I've Been Working on the Railroad," a song with racist lyrics, most likely because it was already well known and easy to sing. Performances at campus minstrel shows with actors in blackface, which continued well into the 1960s, are a painful reality, but the song did not appear to have been composed as a minstrel tune. And the panel's 40 recommendations include teaching the song's history at student orientation events and allowing new alternative versions composed or performed by Black musicians, Brad. So there's I don't know if there's any there when it comes to the eyes of Texas, but they looked into.
Well, you know, and of course, you have no right. I have no right to judge this because we're not Texans. Okay, we're outsiders. we're going to pass judgment on something about which we know nothing about.
No.
So it feels a bit thin. It feels like a reach. It feels like you're really, really open to. Is that the biggest problem that the University of Texas has? You really open yourself up to, is there all kinds of equality in all areas? We've got that all nailed down. Now we've got to tag this song and get rid of it, which of course the answer is, these aren't mutually exclusive. Nobody's saying that everything's perfect, but this song could go. We know all the arguments. We've heard it a million times over different kinds of issues. This just, even to a complete wimps like us, this one sounds thin. This one sounds pretty thin.
You mentioned this yesterday, and you weren't sure if it was true or not, but it does seem that LeBron James has not been completely enthusiastic about taking the vaccine. And today, Stephen A. Smith of ESPN making an emotional plea for LeBron James to break his silence on his vaccine plans, pointing to the disproportionate rate at which Black Americans are dying from the coronavirus. You did say the state of, you have seen the surveys and the data now that show that the state of North Carolina is doing a pretty good job in terms of equity, in terms of getting the vaccine out to minorities versus to white folks, right?
Yeah,
There's some good data out there.
Right. I have no explanation. I offer no excuse. I'm with Stephen A. Smith times 50.
Yeah.
LeBron James should be ashamed of this. I mean, remember, you can blow a lot of goodwill by screwing up one little way in America right now. And I'm not saying this is it for LeBron James, but God damn it, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong?
Well, let's be honest.
What kind of shit got drilled into his head?
Let's be clear on what he's saying.
Let's
be clear on what he's saying. LeBron James called his choice to take the vaccine a conversation that my family and I are having. Pretty much keep that to a private thing. When you decide to do something, that's a conversation between you and your family, and not for everybody. And I'll keep it that way. That's bullshit. What he said publicly.
That is complete horseshit. This is not a private issue. This is a public issue. This is a pandemic. What you do affects other people. If you don't decide to get a vaccine, and you are a very, very famous person, and you play coy with "I'm not going to talk about it," which we all know. If you're going to get it, you just say, "Of course I'm going to get it." Anything else short of that is terrible, and it puts you into the anti-vaxxer, conspiracy theorist, crazy nutcase category in this country. And by the way, while you were saying that, I did notice, and this has nothing to do with Black people getting the vaccine, but apparently the one group of people that still is the most recalcitrant, the most skeptical in terms of the movement, because remember, it's not just where the number was 3 months ago or 6 months ago, it's what direction is the number going in. Black folks are coming around pretty well as a group to getting the vaccine. Now, I'm not talking about LeBron James here just being a dick, okay? But and it's white Republicans are still the most skeptical of getting the vaccine. And we know where that one comes from.
Sure.
White people in Missouri who are rural and vote Republican all the time, they were not subject to the Tuskegee experiment, okay?
No,
their ancestors weren't allowed to die with syphilis. It didn't happen that way. They're just following Donald Trump, who, again, if they could at least be honest about it, would now say, I wasn't taking it and didn't want to take it before when given the opportunity, even now, because Trump didn't get one. Well, guess what? Now that it's been revealed that Trump was lying to you and he got one sometime in January, as soon as it was easily available, you can take the Donald Trump excuse and flush it, unless you want to play the idiotic game of, well, I heard him be skeptical 5 months ago, so I'm never going to get it, which is right up there with Dr. Fauci is a lying piece of shit, because in February, one time he said, I don't think that masks are going to be the answer to this. So therefore, you never wear a mask, and you want your governor to take away the mask mandate in your state, because Dr. Fauci said back in February of 20. People, God, I hate America. I just hate America that we have these people. Who are these people? And I don't want to put LeBron James in that category. I don't want to do that. But
he might still turn it around, and he might end up taking the thing as publicly as anybody. He might end up getting, it might be an all-star team of him and Kevin Durant and James Harden.
The damage is done. The damage is done. Vaccine skepticism should not turn into vaccine denial or vaccine conspiracy theory. he's there. He's traveling in that circle right now by not being as smart as a lot of other people that we know who are public figures who have done so, including a lot of athletes, including Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Oh, what the fuck does Kareem know? He's old. When was the last time he played basketball? What does he know? He's an old man.
Yeah, he wasn't an iconic figure for a lot of African Americans.
No,
Come on,
no.
LeBron James is. You gotta be-
I'm just disgusted by this story so
Well,
much.
so
I'm really,
it is-
really disgusted.
Let me just get this straight. For anybody, particularly who's African American, who expresses skepticism, that's like handing a win to Trump and Trumpism if they say stuff like that. Is that your position?
No, it's not about Trumpism. It's not about no.
But that's the root of all of this.
It's a handing a win to ignorance. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, yeah, you can add trumpet
Yeah.
to that is ignorance.
I'll give you that.
But whatever happened to we're all in this together? Whatever happened to that? Where did that go? Was
Yeah.
that a lie the whole time? Did nobody ever really believe that? Do people really think that in a mass epidemic, a pandemic, that your health doesn't depend on other people getting vaccinated over time and causing enough immunity to be in a population so that the virus has really nowhere to go and it kind of starts to die off? Do people think that that's a myth, that that's just some kind of made up shit, that didn't, here's the problem. We have a huge swath of people who are blind and ignorant and think that everything that is happening right now, that it's the first time it's ever happened in the history of anything ever. There's just absolutely no ability to tell these people, here's what's happened before in epidemics. Here's what happened in 1918, or as Donald Trump says, 1917.
He never stopped doing that, did he? He never stopped.
Not really. And here's what happened when polio ran through the United States for decades. When the vaccine was finally discovered and distributed in the late 1950s, because I was a little kid. Polio wasn't like a 3-year-old disease. It hadn't just popped up in a year. It had been around for centuries, I think, polio. And so it was truly a miracle then. People were in tears all over the country. They went crazy. There were parties. They went nuts. But right now, look at what we're having to fight. Look at the ignorance we're having to fight. We're having to sit here and tell people, and we have to say it over and over and over again, that yes, the numbers have been going down overall in a lot of places. There are fewer people in hospitals now than there were 3-4 months ago. There aren't 300,000 new cases a day. There's only 60 or 70,000, which back in April and May was the fucking apocalypse. But now that's the floor. That's fine. We can live with that. Well, from 50 and 60,000 a day back then, when people started to open up, when Trump was tweeting, liberate Michigan, remember that shit? Remember how many hundreds of years ago that was? Remember when he did that?
Yeah.
And people started being less fastidious about taking personal precautions. And we started to see all these mass parties. Lake of the Ozarks. Will we ever forget that Lake of the Ozarks video from last spring, where there were hundreds, thousands of people in a pool area? And they had that stupid motorcycle rally up in South Dakota. Now, and so the news gets just a little bit better, and that's exactly the time when you say we've got them on the ropes. If you looked at this as a football game, this would be, you finally got a 2 touchdown or more lead, and there's only 2 minutes left in the game.
You should definitely pull your team off the field.
Stick with your plan.
No,
just don't fuck up.
Pull the team off the field. That's what you should do.
And if things reverse, and below the surface now are all these mutations, these variants that spread more easily.
Yeah.
More easily. And so the recipe is there for things to turn back around and to get really, really bad again. And guess what? Maybe they won't. Wouldn't that be great? But what the heck? Hey, I got an idea. All you people who don't want to take the vaccine or think it's a dumb idea or think that wearing masks was a dumb idea, or you're a fucking moron and you live in Idaho and you went to a mask burning thing. Hey, how about burning some books next time? Huh?
They're going to try.
Boy, the chip. Did you see the video of that? They're the fucking
did.
kids putting masks in a trash barrel.
That was
That's going to be
disgusting.
a childhood memory to treasure, isn't it? Boy, that's going to be great. Wait. Yeah. We'll all remember where we were when we burnt our masks. And then
That was disgusting. It was awful.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. Yeah, I felt better when they were at least using the steamroller to trash Judas Priest CDs. Back in the 80s. Remember that?
Backwards masking. Yeah, backwards masking.
Yeah. What were they doing? But to be this close and to have lots of vaccine coming online and centers opening up all over the country, and now they're lowering the age in a lot of places so that you can get the vaccine as a younger person, and doing all the right things. But we have these it was 17 states we were able to name last week. It's probably up to 20 or 22. Almost all of them conservatives or Republicans run the legislatures and or the governorships, and they're all playing with fire, and they're all trying to quote a statistic that proves their point that things are getting so good in their state that therefore, and of course they're cherry picking a statistic. Oh, we have 1/4 of the number of people in hospitals right now than we had 2 months ago. That maybe in the running now for the dumbest governor, that guy in Mississippi. Holy shit, have you seen him?
Yeah.
Oh my God, his name is Tate. Oh my gee, and he was only the governor for like 1 month. 1 month when the pandemic broke out. So he didn't know what the fuck he was doing anyway. He is just dumber than 5 boxes of rocks.
Tate Reeves is the gentleman's name.
Oh my
Tate
God.
Reeves.
What a fool. What a fool.
Another one of those idiot Southerners that goes by his middle name. Jonathan Tate Reeves is what his name is.
Yeah.
And
John is such a creepy name. You could get beat up for having the first name John.
It's like that dumbass Roy Britt Whitmire. Millsaps College. He has a BA from Millsaps College in Jackson, Mississippi. That's where Tate Reeves went to school, Brad.
All I know is, did Ronnie Millsap go there?
Ronnie Millsap is from Robbinsville, North Carolina, and as far as I know, only attended the North Carolina School for the Blind.
What was his biggest hit?
Smoky Mountain Rain was like a huge crossover hit, was it not?
I mean, he had a couple ballads that hit.
Stranger in My House was a good, it was almost like a song, was a huge hit for him.
That's the one.
That's a big one. That's a huge hit for him, which that's a very good. What a Difference You've Made in My Life. Another big hit for Ronnie Millsap. Millsaps College is where Tate Reeves went to school, Brad, in Jackson, Mississippi.
That doesn't mean you shouldn't have the good sense to realize that let's do another football analogy. You're on the 4-yard line. Mm-hmm. You're at the end of the Super Bowl. You can get into the end zone really easily. You've got one of the best running backs in football. You should just hand him the ball several times.
Pete Carroll.
Right. No. I'm going to do the stupidest thing possible and lose the Super Bowl. Okay.
Here's the history of Tate Reeves. In the midst of the acceleration of the COVID-19 pandemic, Reeves overrode local leaders' decisions to order people to stay at home, instead telling Mississippians to get back to life as usual and deeming places like bars, dine-in restaurants, and churches essential services.
And by the way, that temporary moratorium on whipping the slaves.
Go and whip your property. You get out there. That's
go whip
good.
The slaves and because cotton production had plunged.
It had,
and
it's good cardio. We need people out there getting exercise, and when you're whipping, it's really. He also refused to close down beaches. He refused to announce stay-at-home orders, telling people to trust in the power of prayer. Brad, the decision was widely condemned asked in late March of 2020, so this has been a year ago, why China could impose a lockdown, but Mississippi could not. Reeves answered, Mississippi's never going to be China. Mississippi's never going to be North Korea.
Is that the only choice there is?
Reeves implemented a stay-at-home order on April the 3rd.
By the way, Prayer was asked about Governor Reeves saying that it's all, and Prayer said, "Don't put this shit on me. I can't stop this. I can't stop this pandemic. Leave me alone."
Pray for some brains, you dumbass. He implemented a stay-at-home order on April the 3rd, so that's been 11 months ago. In late April, he allowed some retail businesses to reopen again. So what? After 3 weeks, he decided, you guys are good. And at the same time, Mississippi had its largest spike of coronavirus deaths and cases. That's part of the history.
Don't you remember? There was a time, I can't remember when it was, that when the shift came from, it wasn't New York anymore, and it was starting to spread all over the country, that Mississippi was at the top of the news for a while as having, again, percentage-wise, the worst numbers in the country. And that woman who's the governor of North Dakota, Kristi Noem, who is obviously she's the Republican fantasy girl.
Oh, yes.
For all the guys who think Sarah Palin aged out several years ago, she's off. So Kristi Noem she's one dangerous babe. Okay. Yeah, she's a liar of the first rank. She's trying to make it seem as if her complete hands-off, laissez-faire approach to the coronavirus in North Dakota, it worked. We have no problem here. And of course, she's lying. And North Dakota, I'm pretty sure to this day, has one of the highest rates of coronavirus infections of any state in the country. You have to do it, per capita. You have to do it per 100,000 residents, and North Dakota only has a couple 100,000.
I believe you're saying North Dakota. Kristi Noem is in fact the governor of South Dakota.
That's what I mean. It's a Dakota.
It's a
Dakota.
I have trouble keeping them apart too. The one borders Canada.
Again, first of all, we can't judge Texas. We don't live there. We can't judge the UT fight song, and we can't judge the Dakotas. We don't live there. We don't live there.
There was a bill a few years ago to change the name of North Dakota to just Dakota because they thought North was like killing off their tourist stuff, and that wasn't just a plot line on West Wing. I think that was actually a real thing. I think they were going to call it Dakota, and the other one was going to be known. By the way, Kristi Noem is considering a bill that's on her desk right now that would bar transgender athletes from competing in college sports and in women's sports. I don't know, it's just college. A bill requiring athletes in South Dakota state schools to provide information regarding their biological sex, as well as their age and whether they're taking steroids, is headed to the governor's desk. She has indicated she will sign this bill Monday when she tweeted about it, Kristi Noem. In South Dakota, we're celebrating International Women's Day. That was Monday by defending women's sports, says Kristi Noem, the governor of South Dakota. The bill, if signed into law, would legally prevent any student at a state institution from joining a sports team that does not match their at-birth biological identity. Brad, these are the culture wars that will continue to be fought in these United States forever and ever until the rightful owner of the presidency, Donald John Trump, can resume his throne.
Don't you love the story? Don't you love the story from over the weekend that when he flew back to New York, there was only one person hanging out in front of Trump Tower to greet him?
That's funny.
I love that one so much. I really, really enjoy, because everybody else was inside watching Oprah and the not royal couple.
Exactly.
This is one, and they've taken down all that security. They had a ring of security around Trump Tower. What? My God, you might have thought it was the U.S. Capitol.
I see what you did there. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, the other great culture war story over the past 24 to 40 hours has been Pepe Le Pew, Brad. Everybody seems to be up in arms because of some cancel culture against the rapey skunk, Pepe Le Pew. The only thing nobody is really truly upset over this. But you're blowing my punchline. You're blowing my punchline. The only thing from France that never gave up, Pepe Le Pew. When it
You
came
would
to
have
the
been
lady,
better off if you would have. No, if you would have let me trample it completely, it would have been better off.
so
Maury Amsterdam called and said he wants his joke back. Okay.
but he always felt like he was a rapey skunk, and then they were showing. I guess Charles Blow had a column and a piece about this, and that's what's kind of sparked people to go, and I got to say, it's not really defensible, is it? I mean, he did.
No, well, look,
he,
did you saw Britt? Didn't you see that piece that they cut out the clip and put it up
Yeah.
on Mediaite? Maria Bartiromo tried to have a guy on there to do fake outrage over it, and he said, "Shit, they're right. Pepe Le Pew is indefensible. He rapes. He kisses women against their will. He does all the kinds of wrong things, and so therefore, I'm out." And so, even on Fox, they can't find anybody to play the game.
Pepe Le Pew Pepe Le Pew was the host of the 8 o'clock show on Fox for like years and years. He was. I mean, that's basically.
Right. But here's the interesting part of a lot of these stories. Most of them didn't just start in the last week or when we start to hear about them now. They will be the result of many, many years of people saying things or talking about this or noting it and it going nowhere. Because remember, when Donald Trump is the president, no, you can't get upset over a cartoon character saying, may I touch your pussy? I am the pussy. No, because you had a real guy who did that and got elected president. So now that Trump's no longer the president and we can get back to some sort of rationality or get back to our usual political correctness, some of these things are coming forth. The Dr. Seuss thing is not new. It didn't blow up last week out of nowhere. It's been there forever. The Pepe Le Pew thing has been around for a long, long time. The University of Texas, that song, that's not, they didn't just come up with that 3 days ago. These are all kinds of things that have been there that have not been addressed. And when Officer Derek Chauvin is put on trial in Minneapolis in the next few days. They're picking the jury, I think, today up there. This is not going to be about an issue that just came up when George Floyd was killed. This didn't just start to happen. This is decades, centuries of treatment of Black people in this country.
But at that moment in that juncture,
this is about the fact that if you're a white cop in this country, your chances of getting convicted of killing a Black person, even when there's video of it, are not very high.
That's the point. That's the point, is that it was no longer, you couldn't be in denial of it anymore. Once you saw that picture, which could easily be transmitted around the world, shown on phones and iPads and everything. Anyway, look, if you don't think that Black people are mistreated, and you can't have that one, like you were talking about that one time when you were in line about the voting thing. Well, that was just the one time. That was just the one time that unfortunately in Minneapolis, where it happens the one time, then it happens the one time, and then the one time, and it just keeps happening over, and it disproportionately seems to be happening to Black people. What is your thought on the trial and the potential for some more protests following a verdict in this thing? I mean, the trial is going to go on for a while, obviously.
Well, I think the big issue is, are they going to up the charges to a higher level so that if he gets convicted, he can get convicted and get more than 4 years in and out? Because I think you have to move it up to some level of murder, not just manslaughter. And I could be completely wrong about that, but you understand that the charges against him right now, and they're arguing that as they're picking the jury, I think.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, obviously the potential for anything can't be taken off the table in terms of a reaction if he is acquitted. If they're able to successfully defend this guy in the face of this kind of evidence, by putting George Floyd on trial, by saying he had fentanyl in his system. He had fentanyl. So therefore, what? What does that mean? That means he deserved to die the way he did? I don't even see how the two are connected. And the answer is they're not. But we have a history of, rape victims having their sexual history displayed and used as a defense by the accused. Well, look at what she did, and we have a guy here now, George Floyd, dead. Well, he may have had some drugs in his system, but there was no evidence that he was completely whacked out of his. It's the fact we even have to talk about it that way is terrible. It's just terrible, and I tell you what. Again, we have no business judging this. We don't live in Minneapolis. I've never even been there, but our image of that city, which I think before this was, wow, it's a really livable, nice place with nice people, with a great culture, with a lot of intelligent, smart. They have all the accoutrements of any major city in this country. The museums, a lot of great companies are headquartered there. They have Target, and they're all and what a great functioning city. And now, most of us, we look at Minneapolis and go, wow, they're just like every other place. There's nothing special about Minneapolis at all. Plus, you freeze your ass off a lot longer there every year than anywhere else. You know,
Once you leave there,
when you want to get warm in Minneapolis, you go south to Chicago. Okay, that's how far north they are.
Or you head over to one of those Dakotas we were talking about. That's where
yeah, East or West Dakota. Which one is your favorite?
Just pick one.
Yeah. All right. Hey, we covered a lot of ground and
around the world.
And on the next Brad and Britt cast, you're going to tell us what your 6-word epitaph should be on your birth certificate. Okay. What was Rush's greatest radio talk show host of all time? Is that what he said? Greatest radio person?
Don't you remember one of my favorite stories from when you were at Rock 92 was when John Amberg he was interviewing that drummer for the Grateful Dead, and he couldn't think of any questions. And he comes to you. What should I ask this guy? Do you remember what you said?
No.
How do you sleep at night? That's what you said. John
that
never
sounds like my all-purpose question for people.
Mickey Hart or whatever that guy's name was for the Grateful Dead. And you go, what should I ask him? What should I ask him? How do you sleep at night? Which I thought a fair.
And you know what? On the next Brad, let's talk about the genetic combination, not of two people having a baby who are related to the monarchy, but the genetic combination of Jesse Helms, Ronald Reagan, and P.T. Barnum.
Oh, God.
Becoming Donald Trump, because noted geneticist Lindsey Graham put that idea out there over the weekend in an interview on Axios. And let's try to just process how you put those three. In other words, Donald had 3 daddies, and there they were. So we will talk about that on the next.
I think Lindsey Graham is a genetic mutation and a combination of Tennessee Williams, the big boy from Shoney's, and Strom Thurmond. I think if you combine all three of those.
We may have a new idea here. We may have a new idea. Let's explore it on the next Brad and Britt cast. Okay.
See you tomorrow.